Alright, so every time I talk about that Jeremy guy and why I disagree with him, this guy right here, and why I'm upset with how everything went down, I'll get someone that'll say, bullshit, I know him personally, that's not true. Well, I was there. This isn't secondhand information. This isn't something somebody told me. This is what I seen with my own eyes and I heard with my own ears. Just to clarify it so there's no confusion, let's go over what my personal experience was. And the sponsor of today's video is AutoKeyCard.com. And if you don't feel comfortable putting your personal information out there on the internet, what you can do is their mail-in order option. Just print off this mail-in order form right here, put money or a money order in the envelope, send it out to them, have it mailed to somebody else's house, pick up your package there. Your name will never possibly be in any sort of internet registry. Be sure to print out your order form at a library. But shop AutoKeyCard.com, one of the biggest sponsors of the channel. Alright, so in June 2010, the company Slidefire that makes the bump stock, they got an approval letter from the ATF. Bump stocks are totally legal. You can sell them as you please, and they did so. October 2017, the Las Vegas incident happened. Somewhere between, I don't remember exactly where. Remember, this information is like 3 years old. So, the facts may not be 100% correct on timing and when things happened, but it's to the best of my memory. Somewhere between Las Vegas and Trump announcing that the ban is almost complete, which happened in 2018, the company Slidefire pulled their inventory from the distributors. Now, what does that mean? Alright, so a distributor would get inventory, right? They would charge a little bit of a markup on it, we'd get it, and then we'd sell it across the counter. When we'd finally get it, it was something like either 60 or 70 bucks. Now, it had a MAP price on it. MAP is minimum advertised price. What that is for, when a company like, say, I don't know, the Bump Stock or Slidefire, after they've been around so long, the hype is gone, and the only way to sell them is to be the cheapest possible person. So companies will get competitive on the internet, and the price and the value and what they're worth will keep going down. What you would use a MAP price for, one second. What you would use a MAP price for is to freeze the price. Damn it. To freeze the price of that particular item, this way it holds value. I get what it's for, but anyway, so there was a MAP price of something like $100. That meant I could not go and advertise that publicly for like $100, but I could sell it in the store for like $75. Which is cool, and that's what I was doing, and people were buying them from me. Where the hell was I going with that? So the MAP price, that's what the MAP price was. Okay, so, and then the MSRP was something like $139 or $129 or something like that. Maybe it might have even been $150. I don't remember exactly, but it had a MAP price of somewhere north of $100, and then it had an MSRP of somewhere north of $120. Now, what you do when you got a company going is the actual physical website only sells for MSRP. This is important because if they sell for cheaper, which they can because they manufacture it and they're not dealing with distributors, shipping, or anything like that, they will undercut everyone out there and they will crash the market. So the manufacturer always sells for MSRP because that puts inventory on the shelves. If there's not inventory on the shelves, they sell less. Yes, they will get more money directly, but without having the inventory on the shelf, without having people see it, without making it easy to sell, without having a bunch of websites showing it, reminding people about it, that's free advertisement. You always want to sell if you're the manufacturer at MSRP and then everybody else sells it for a cheaper price. Because when you put the product out there, there's more eyes on it, more people get to see it, you will sell more product in the end, you will keep your product relevant for longer. So, somewhere between Las Vegas and Trump, they decide to sell direct. Because there is so much media attention on it and more advertisement than they could ever handle, there's no point in selling it cheaper to other people. So what they were doing is selling it directly. The only way you could buy one, and I checked because a customer came in looking for one, and I talked to the distributor, and they're like, no. The company said they would honor any pre-orders before this particular date. After that, any orders that are going to be placed will only be able to be fulfilled if you place them directly with the manufacturer. You have to buy them there. And I was like, well, hey, let's just check out some other websites. Maybe there's some pre-existing stock somewhere. This way you can get it cheaper, because slightly north of 100 is definitely cheaper than what they were selling them for, which I swear it was like 150. It might have been cheaper, but I swear it was like 150. So you could save 30% if you can find another site. Everybody was out of stock. And you can't tell me they weren't making any more, because when ATF officially dropped the hammer on them, they had something like 70,000 units destroyed. The company, the manufacturer, still had 70,000 units that they were hanging on to that could have been shipped out to other places. So it's not like there was a shortage. They were holding on to the inventory. They were selling direct to the customer. Now, at that point in time, it made sense to me, because I'm like, well, they got to do right by the customer. They're going to do a couple of different things. That's going to cost money. We'll talk about the different options they could have did. So they need to make as much as they can to be able to afford that. So yeah, I would do the same thing. I would sell direct. I would sell at full MSRP. There's enough advertisement, enough demand where I will have no problem selling at full MSRP. That'll inflate my bank account so I can make a move when the ATF finally bans them. So then Trump announces the ban is almost done. The ban hits March 26. They were facing possible litigations, like they would have had to go to court to explain themselves, etc. They closed their company May 20th. Now, what am I so upset about? None of that really mattered before. There could have been two possible scenarios that wouldn't have made me upset. Number one, they continued business as normal, going to the distributors, going to the customers, etc., etc., etc. And then when it happened, you know, we apologized. This was legal. We had an approval letter. Our hands are tied here. Or two, they did what they did, charged full MSRP to inflate their bank account, and then they picked one of these options. One, put out a refund program. Say, it doesn't have to be that you're going to refund all of them. Just a small refund program to buy back the ones that, because you can't even buy them back, they'd have to be destroyed. So basically, you'd send in your receipt to the company. You'd be like, hey, they're banned. Okay, here's your receipt. This is what you paid for it. Here's a refund back. And it doesn't have to be for the full amount. It can only be for like, I don't know, maybe 100 grand, 10 grand, something like that. Just to get a couple of those people that are really salty about it. Because a lot of people bought them thinking that there would be some sort of amnesty. Like if they bought it before date X, they would be legal. Because that's what they did with machine guns, so it would have made sense. If you bought it before, you know, whatever date the ATF officially announces they're illegal, now everybody can possess the ones that they had before that date. So they sold an ass ton of them because everybody thought that's what was going to happen. Because that was the most logical thing to happen. Who would have known the ATF would have been like, no, they're illegal, period. Even though you lawfully bought those, you can't have them now. But yeah, a refund option would have been great. And that's typically what happens in business when something really bad goes south. For example, when Fish bought the lube, you guys don't even know who Fish is, so this probably don't make sense. But anyways, he bought the lube and they knew they were going under, but they still sold prepaid oil changes and car wash tokens up to the day that they no longer owned the business. So he said, I apologize to all the customers. The first 20 grand of car wash tokens that come in, I will honor them, and the first like 20 grand of oil changes come in, I will honor them. Basically what had happened with Wonderlube is they were a major oil change place in Wisconsin. Huge, just dominating the market. Jiffy Lube offered them some absurd number to buy it, like, it was in the millions. Like millions and millions of dollars. They turned them down because that didn't make sense. They were making so much money, why would they? So what Jiffy Lube did is they partnered up with Pennzoil. Pennzoil bought Shell Rotel but didn't tell anyone. Shell Rotel is the premium diesel oil. So then Shell Rotel reached out to Wonderlube and was like, hey, you want to get into the truck lube industry? partner up with us, pay 50%, we'll open up all these oil change places for semis, we'll dominate the market. So then Wonder Lube triple mortgaged all their businesses to a point to where they couldn't do it anymore because that's the scope Shaw Rotel said they wanted to build their company in. So then, right before the shovel goes into the dirt, Pennzoil announces that they had officially bought Shaw Rotel, which they had known for years. Closes the LLC and backs out of the deal, so Wonder Lube's left holding the bag with a whole bunch of property and materials they had purchased, and a whole bunch of triple mortgage businesses, so they were going under, no matter what. So Pennzoil eventually would get the businesses. That was their main competition to Jiffy Lube, was Wonder Lube, because Wonder Lube was dominating the market. Better customer service, better established. They needed to be shut the hell down. Anyway, so Wonder Lube tried running it. They tried making their bills by doing FMP programs, which is a fluid maintenance program, basically prepaid oil changes, and car wash token sales. They knew they couldn't. They knew they were going to go bankrupt. They still sold them up to the day they ended. But because that was his business now, you had no choice but to honor it. That would have been a decent program. If they would have been like, okay, if anybody would like to return their bump stocks, because we get it, it's not our fault, but it is our product, so we're going to stand by our product. We will put away X amount of dollars, regardless what it was, 10 grand, 100 grand, doesn't really matter. Send us your receipt, and we'll refund you your money. And they were open for 9 years, selling that shit successfully. And then after the huge influx, plus charging MSRP, they had the money to do something like that. Number 2, they fight it tooth and nail, right down to the end. I Googled, and I could not find any article that said Jeremy was a part of a lawsuit against the bump stocks. I found a bunch of gun shops. I found something about the Military Arms Channel. I found something about the Second Amendment organization. Maybe I just didn't stumble across it, but you think that would be headline news. The owner, CEO, and designer of the bump stocks is fighting it in court. You think that would have been article number 1. Again, maybe I just missed it, but I don't see him personally fighting for his own product, which also upsets me. Or, number 3, makes a public statement, I will be an expert witness, and anybody who gets a case against the bump stock, I will answer any questions you need. I will testify that yes, they were legal at the time of you purchasing it. Yes, this is a BS law. Yes, this cannot possibly be a machine gun because it doesn't even have a moving part. Those would have been things I would have accepted. What did I see? Absolutely nothing. The company closes, dude disappears off the map. I don't hear anything about refund programs, anything about him fighting for it. I don't hear anything about him agreeing to show up to any case as a witness. I mean, yeah, they could probably subpoena him in anyway. But if it was me, I would have been like, look, this product was legal. It is not my fault that it happened. But again, I took your money. I even jacked up the price at the end to make extra money. I'm either going to offer a refund program. I can't refund them all because, I can't go bankrupt. But here's a set aside section of money that if you want, you can send your receipt to me and I will refund you for the receipt. Or I would have been at every Second Amendment organization, every gun shop. I would have rallied together and been like, hey guys, I'm getting screwed here. I want to help you fight. What can I do to help? Let's all fight this together. I'll be the pole bearer. I'll hold the flag. Let's do this. Or I would have been like, I had a gambling problem or I was addicted to heroin or something, so I'm completely broke. But what I'm willing to do here is I will stand as an expert witness for anybody that goes into court for a bump stock, and I will help any way I can. I apologize I cannot help financially. I just don't have any money. Thank Trisha, the $2 call girl. Or whatever. The point is, I did not see an effort. Again, there may have been some sort of effort that just went unnoticed or I never heard about it, but I highly doubt that would happen because that should be big news. Also in big news, I did verify a source. Yes, the very first bump stock case that went to court, the ATF got cold feet and they did not prosecute. Again, that's not a win. That's far from a win, but it's a step in the right direction. Anyway, I appreciate you watching my videos. If you'd like to help support the channel, I got my Patreon right there. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Even if you don't want to purchase what the link is for, just clicking on that link and doing the Amazon shopping you're going to do anyway, add a little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.